trees that are well over 100 years old, where the Caney River has risen up and covered that ground, where trees have fallen down and smashed the headstones in that. If we really honor our ancestors, I'm asking you to help me with your support and guidance that I can at least come up with a scope of work and some approximate costs of what it's going to take to restore the cemetery. And that we try to get started with the heavy work now before it gets all overgrown. I think that the Archives Department and the Historic Preservation Office should be a part of this, including plotting out all of where the graves are, using ground-penetrating radar, rebuilding and refurbishing these headstones, and getting a place put back together so it looks like a nice cemetery. Then we can get into the normal routine summer maintenance of mowing and weeding and that. But it's going to take a major restoration work. And I think our Archives and Historic Preservation Office can help in documenting this project. And if we can really pull this off and make it happen, this is a project that we can be proud of as a people, and we can show our descendants down the road that this tribe at this time, during this year of 2013, stepped up there and did the right thing by these ancestors. And we just need to get the project started. And there's some money in land management. There's probably going to have to be money coming from other funds, tribal funds, volunteers, and donations to pull it all off. But I'm asking for your guidance and support to get the project started. I'm not asking for your response immediately. This is just part of my report. I'd like to move on quickly and talk about tribal operations. We are aggressively moving into the building up in Caney, and we're moving into the new social services building over here to the west during this month of February. It's been a tremendous challenge to coordinate all of the phone and the internet connections, plus outfitting all of the offices. But I will say our staff's doing a fine job in light of these challenging circumstances. Over in the new social services building, we're going to be moving the housing program, including the main administration coming from Chelsea. We'll leave a skeleton staff in Chelsea, but we're going to move housing headquarters up here. The Indian Child Welfare Department will move in there. Environmental programs, community services, our utilities assistance, LIHEAP, and the REACH grants, and also the library, museums, and archives offices will all move into the new building. Simultaneously, we are beginning our occupancy of our Kansas headquarters building in Caney. Now, we will have one room dedicated for a tribal administration, kind of like an office pool, where any of us that go up there need to work in Caney from the tribal administration side, we take our laptops, plug in, sit down and work for the day. We'll have office space. But other programs and functions going on in that building are the new Child Support Enforcement Grant, our Financial Services Division, the Tribal Court, and our tribally owned company, Delaware Facilities Management Solutions. They're all located up in Caney. On the next page, I talk about the kitchen expansion. You'll notice a lot of movement going on around here. The demolition of the kitchen is expected to begin in about a week. It's going to temporarily offset the normal ongoing activity here in the dining hall. However, the lunch program will continue, as will necessary business meetings such as this. As long as we got room and we can pull out the meetings, we'll continue to be here. But the kitchen itself will not be available from now, pretty soon. As soon as we put the big plastic curtain up there, we're going to run it from that door all the way over to this wall and demolish that entire kitchen and rebuild it. Move the kitchen over, have a bigger kitchen, bigger serving area, bigger storage area. It's going to make it a little inconvenient, but we're going to continue to serve these elders for the lunch program. Again, it is a targeted completion of April 1. I mentioned the tribal court. They held their first case of 2013 up in the Caney building on January 29th. The logistics left a little something to be desired, but think about this. We can document that the first Delaware Indian tribal court case conducted in the state of Kansas was held January 29th, 2013. That's a historical first for our tribe, and the first of many as this tribe continues to exercise its tribal sovereignty, not just here in Oklahoma, but in Kansas also. In addition to that, I have, on behalf of this tribal council, submitted a fee-to-trust application for the Caney property. It was sent to BIA last week. I've asked them to review the application for the technical elements. Did we put it together right? Do you have everything necessary? Let them look it over. If they have any changes, corrections, anything else that needs to be done, we'll get that done. And then I'm going to schedule a meeting with the Regional Director, Robert Imson. And I'm going to accompany Chief Pechonik, and we're going to go down and put that application on the table for approval. And there will be a required timeline in which BIA has to respond to it. We've looked at the politics of this, and because it's non-gaming, it's simply allowing the tribe to put its property in trust to provide essential government services for its tribal members. Right now, we believe that the politics are so favorable to us, we're very confident we're going to get this trust application approved. And we will have, if this happens, we will have Indian trust land belonging to the Delaware Tribe of Indians for the first time since we left our reservation in 1866. So we're very much looking forward to that. I expect that we will have the application on the table of Mr. Imson during this month, and then the countdown is 90 days. In addition to that, we have gotten the green light to submit a proposal for BIA 638 program funding. I'm working with a gentleman that's been assigned by the BIA in Washington, D.C. He's our liaison. He's helping to construct this proposal. He's asked a lot of questions about the Cherokee MOA, so I'm having to spend a lot of time bringing him up to speed about that and how it may or may not affect or apply to the programs and services in the proposal that we're drafting. I'm probably not going to have a draft to even present to the Tribal Council for review and discussion for at least another 2 to 3 weeks, but I'm working on it. And finally, on the last page under personnel, we continue to add people, we continue to grow. I'm even having to kind of move some job duties around to fit the growth that we have. Leslie Foley, our full-time enrollment director, our enrollment director is now working full-time in that role, but in addition to full-time, she also has the duties of being the tribal court clerk. We have also, as a temporary right now, hired an administrative assistant to support Chief Pechonik and me with administrative duties. She is here. It's Jana Roth. She's a tribal member and the former director of Indian Education at the Broken Arrow Public School District. And she's doing a fine job. It is a temporary assignment, temporary hire. If things work out, we want to expand this to a permanent job, we will have to go through the advertising like we do with all of our personnel policies and all of our jobs. But for now, she is serving us well and doing some very important administrative support duties around here. And coming up in just 2 weeks on February 18th, Mr. John Moore of Lawrence, Kansas will join the accounting staff as our lead accountant. He brings a resume of accounting and tax work and an accounting degree from Kansas University. He is a tribal member and he will relocate to Bartlesville. And finally, regarding the Cherokee Nation and the MOA, as you all know by now, Cherokee Nation Secretary of State Charles Head was killed in an automobile accident last Thursday. His funeral is tomorrow in Tahlequah, and I'm going to drive Chief Pechonik and Councilwoman Jennifer Pechonik to the funeral. Our reports from people that we know are informing us that right now Cherokee Nation Attorney General Todd Hendry will be assuming those secretary duties until further announcements are made. I suspect this puts a halt to any discussions on the Cherokee MOA for now, but it's only a temporary halt. We continue to reach out to Chief Baker and show our concern for the effect that the Cherokee MOA has on our tribe, and we want to find every way possible of diminishing the restrictions on the MOA and continuing to act as a federally recognized tribe with authority over its own funds and over its own programs. Meanwhile, we are working with the Cherokee Nation Administration and providing all documents right now. They're going through an audit of their Indian housing funds, which they sub-grant to us for our housing. So they've asked for a bunch of documents, and we're providing them as related to our NAHASDA funds, the Indian Housing Plan, and the Annual Performance Report. So we've got a lot going on, and I just wanted to make sure that I included you on my reports. I had not been doing that in the past. That was my oversight, and I apologize for that. And I do remain available to you at any time to respond to your questions, comments, issues, and concerns. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Curtis, since the cemetery is on private land, do you have access to that?
Yes, we do. I'm going out there Thursday.
Is that a public access or is that?
No. I have to go and ask permission every time I go over.
And another thing is, you know, have we applied for a national historic preservation?
No, we've not.
Is that a possibility?
I understand. I'll be glad to visit with you after this meeting and discuss it. Thank you.
Committee report. We're actually probably running out of time. Would somebody like to make a motion that we table
So till the next meeting, not different.
all in favor?
Aye.
Old business. Do I hear old business?
I guess if we get old business, and we're discussing our account with Arvest up there. And got one, I think they Mr. Scott today, is checking his status, and he's kind of unclear as to what our new status for our county is. And I don't know myself how we'll protect it or anything, fix it catastrophic. His advice to me, since he says I'm account manager, tax lawyer and everything, that we need to get an attorney to we do. Not that, basically, the email said that, work schedule appeared that they're getting there.
One thing,
Motion C, and second, all in favor, please say aye. Then all in favor of Vern Crawford for vice chair, since he is on. Opposed? Supposed to have elections in, secret ballot. Yeah, the next question, can the vice chair continue to be the secretary? Do you desire to continue as secretary? I do.
We need be sure we have a fourth person to check that. Deanne is one, she's usually not available, so you and I and John have been the only ones that can sign checks. So either we need to make all trust board members eligible to sign checks, or we need to appoint another signer.
I know where he is. John already is.
Yes.
So I need to point him out.
Right, right.
That
We
probably-
can't sign our own checks, and there's times that, what the logistics are that we can't get together to do it.
Homer's usually here 2 or 3 days a week at lunchtime. Well, you wouldn't have any problem with me with check signing. I also had committee assignments on the agenda. That's something that we could do in this workshop. Everybody's going to be able to come to the workshop. Tuesday, 1 o'clock, right?
Yes.
Let's just table committee
Call for the
assignments.
motion question on
Okay, all in favor of Homer, please, check.
Aye.
Opposed? No abstentions.
you can just, there doesn't have to be a vote on committee assignments, you can do it away.
John Dillingham, you asked to be on the agenda. Sorry it took us so long to get there.
I promise I will be brief. I'm president of CEA and a ask something that I don't know. So, in the interest of time, I won't do that. I just want to say that our board, of course, consists of the chief, 2 tribal members, and 4, as you spoke of, business people. I think we have 4 people that have a lot of experience in business. Our job, of course, is to develop the economy for the tribe and to come up with business opportunities. That's what we're trying to do. We're working on some good things. I couldn't help but notice in the minutes that Mr. Joe Brooks mentioned that his committee and the DEA board was redundant, and I agree with that. Is there a need for both? I pose that question to you. I noticed that there are $44,000 on your balance sheet. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we have very little income. We're trying to invest in some businesses. Jim Creed, since he's come aboard, has a good opportunity for us that we're looking at. Roger Waters and Nate met today and discussed that. I would just ask you to consider. I know, Chet, I think after our joint meeting, you took that request to this board and asked that those funds be transferred to the DEA board. I would ask again, we need funding. It's pretty hard to develop a budget when you don't know what your income is, and we don't have any income. So I would just ask you to consider that, and I thank you for this opportunity to visit with you. Thank you.
One question, if I may, sir. Would we be able to have a representative to sit there?
Well, you have the chief, and you have
From the trust board?
according to the bylaws, someone would have to, the bylaws call for 7 representatives, 3 tribal council members, and 4 from outside the council. So I guess my comment to you was you'd have to trust us.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Chief Chalmey.
I'm coming before you today with one of the rules and following rules. So we're trying to follow the rules. And we have one of your trust board people has violated code of conduct. And he refuses to follow the code of conduct by coming to an executive session. So I'm going to give you people the information, since he doesn't want to come to the... So do you all have a code of conduct? Okay, here's the code of conduct. Does everybody have it?
Curtis presented it to us, but we took no action.
Well, this code of conduct is for all elected officials.
Mine is ashes.
Now this is the slanderous things that John has put on his Facebook, his Facebook. Yeah.
Make sure I read it.
And then we have what?
This is up to one.
And this is a copy of the charges. You two on the council have these.
that order. And duty is the accumulation of your efforts to accomplish a task that was given to you by those appointed over you. And the way you accomplish that is in a way that you see fit to carry out your duty. If it offends others, fine. If it brings me up before charges, fine. And I will report to the correct authority, which is the trust board. It was brought right to me, I feel, in the correct way. The charge is brought here before the trust board. I'll sit here before the trust board. I hold myself to a higher conduct, but I also agree with the conduct they have here. I'm not trying to back out of that, never did say I did. Because as a matter of fact, as she's so fond of pointing out, I wanted it and I helped push it, and she's correct. So, I'm up before you, my peers, on this. You have the charges laid out before you. But as will be done in a public forum, I will not go to executive session. It needs to be done in a public forum. And if need to criminal court. I'll be the second case in Canada. Really make it good. But that's my stance. Thank you.
Does this trust board desire to take any action or even go into discussion about this?
I move to table this till the March meeting. I mean, we can't have this drop in our laps and make any sort of intelligent, educated decisions in one evening.
I've read it all already. Well, a motion's been made to table it until
March meeting.
I'll second that. Discussion. Discussion. I'm going to urge each trust board member throughout the Constitution of the United States to read about freedom of speech. I don't believe you can take away somebody's constitutional rights for me code of conduct.
Especially when the ones being monitored on Facebook.
So I urge each trust board member to also read the Constitution of the United States. Do I hear further discussion?
I have some further discussion. This evening it was brought up about following rules. We passed a code of conduct, and it is for elected officials. So please read your code of conduct. I have something to say.
We do have rules in place. Now, when you read the charges there, consider the source of where it came from, a public forum. Everybody's entitled to their opinion on the public forum. But I also urge each and every one of you to consider each one of those charges levied against John Sumner and make the effort to find out whether those allegations are true or false. Don't just take somebody's word for it. Find out whether they are true or false, and base your decisions upon that and that only. Thank you.
Call for question.
Question has been called. All in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Aye. You abstain? Yeah. On the subject. Do I hear further new business?
I'll move to adjourn.
Can I make a closing remark?
Yes.
Most of my life, I've been an outsider looking in. I know I didn't grow up in Dewey or Caney or this area, and I grew up over in Cherokee country. Although we've been Delaware all of our lives, we've always our family's been outsiders looking in. I'd like to urge all of our elected officials and all of our citizens to try and put Pickering behind us. We are a sovereign nation, and we're bickering over $500 here and there. Not that managing money is not important. We spend more time on hurt feelings than we do the future of this tribe. We are a sovereign nation. We have our own flag. We're talking about restoring a cemetery of people who endured nothing short of a Holocaust for us to be here today to sit in victory about toes being stepped on. If our ancestors had been so quick to worry about their feelings out on their sleeves, we wouldn't even be a mark on the history book right now. And I got involved in this tribe's government because I hoped that I could make a difference. Because a difference has to be made, but it can't be made by one person or one leader coming along every generation or two. We have to come together as a people, or we may as well mail our federal recognition papers back to Washington and say thank you very much, but we just committed suicide, political suicide. So we need to start thinking about our children and our children's children. Start thinking about what will people say about us whenever we are the ancestors? Or will there be a prodigy to speak of us when we are the ancestors?